Hello everybody and welcome to your next Sfml tutorial. So in this tutorial I'm going to be teaching you how to use the gamepad, joysticks, or controllers in your program. So lots of games right now, PC games involve like the mouse and the directional keys, but some games allow additional support for gamepads, joysticks, or other or controllers. Like you can hook up your PS3 or Xbox 360 controller to the computer and use it as a gamepad, etc., etc. So, it has some games have added support for that too. Like I remember, uh, I was playing Need for Speed World a while back. I don't really play that anymore, but I was playing Need for Speed World, and I hooked up my PS controller to that, and I was playing Need for Speed World using my PS3 controller rather than the keyboard. So it's a cool feeling to be able to use a controller or use whatever feels better to you. And it's always good to give that variety whenever you're distributing your programs, so they can choose whatever they want to use to play your game on. So it's up to you if you want to add this functionality, but let's get right into it. So I'm going to split this up into two different tutorials. So this tutorial, we're just going to be learning about the buttons, what the different buttons and the axes do, and I'm going to be teaching you on how to set up your PS3 or Xbox 360 controller quickly to your computer so you can use that as a gamepad. So firstly, yeah, let me show you how to do quickly. I'm not gonna go through every single step, but there's a program called Motion Joy, and on the website they have a step-by-step tutorial on how to install it and stuff. And if you have a PS3 controller, then you're gonna want to download a Xbox 360 driver. I don't know if this Motion Droid comes with it, but I downloaded the driver for the PS3 controller just to be on the safe side. So you can manipulate your controller to be like an Xbox 360 controller, a PS3 controller, PS2 or PS1, or you can make your own custom gamepad controls and set what each button does. Okay? So I'm going to set mine to PS3. So if I click my options right here, I can see that button 1 is equal to triangle, button 2 is equal to circle, button 3 is equal to the X button, etc., etc. But some gamepads, the layouts are not all the same, and therefore if you do like say I want the person to when they press the X button, they do a certain function. So I set it to button 3. Some on other gamepads, their configuration might be set, like the X button might be set to button number 1. You never know what their configuration is. So there's one, when you're setting up your game, you can have a README or recommended settings for the gamepad, or you can have an option screen so then they can change what button like they use for different things. So the next tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you on how to change the buttons or to detect what button is pressed, so you can alter what different things happen in your program. For this tutorial, I'm just going to be showing you how to use the Windows get input command to basically uh, to see when a button is pressed right now. Or so, in order to get input or active input instead of events, there's something called is joystick button down. So it's just like is key down, but it's for joystick, and a gamepad represents a joystick, is, yeah, etc., etc. So we say that is joystick button down. Now it takes two things in its parameters. It takes the index or the number, the joystick, the user, whatever. Sfml 1.6 can handle two joysticks. One, like 0 represents the first joystick and number 1 represents the second joystick. So since I'm using only one, then I'll set this to 0. Since I'm controlling controller number 1, I'll set this to 0. And then you select which button or whatever you like to check for. So I'm going to be checking for button 1. So let me just run this program, and then with our STDC with our console window, we're going to be able to see if the button is pressed or not. So let me run this and let me get my controller. What is the problem here? Expected. I'm gonna pause the video and restart it. Okay, I was just missing a brace in the event loop. So once I run this program, when I press the circle button, then it's going to show the value. It's going to show 1, showing that the button is going to show 1 representing that it's true. But one thing you should notice is that I set this to 1 before. Sorry. In my joystick function, I set this to 1 before. So why am I checking, why when I press circle, notice that circle is button 2 right here, but when I press circle, it's going to return true. The reason being is that just like arrays and stuff like that, Sfml is just the same. So when you put 0, that's representing button 1, and when you put number 1, you're representing button 2, etc., etc. That's just what I've noticed using it so far. And I put my joystick function just right here. So let me run this program, and don't worry about the main game window, that's just from last tutorial. So this tutorial we're just going to be checking the console window. So move this out of the way. So once I press circle, it shows 1 representing that it says is joystick button down. So once I press circle, then it means it's true. That's why it's showing 1. 1 means true and 0 means false. When I let go, it shows zeros. When I press circle, it shows 1s, meaning that I'm pressing down the circle button. And you can do that. It ranges, Sfml, it ranges from 0 to 15, so you can have a total of 16 buttons. 16 buttons in your program. So it's really up to you. You can have a preset for the different buttons that you want to have in your games and stuff, or you can allow the user to specify which buttons they want to use, which I'll teach you in the next tutorial. So one last thing is that we want to check for axes, like for directional buttons. So to check for axes, we could put get joystick axis. First we need the ID, which is our controller number 1, and we use sfjoy, and we'll select the axes that we're working with. Now axis X will normally mean for like right and left, and axis Y will normally represent up and down, right? And so if I do axis X right now, oh sorry, I made a mistake. Axis X. So if I was to run this program, semicolon or semicolon, I forgot that. Oh, sorry. Accidentally closed it. If I move this out of the way, so see, it gives me a value like this. So if I press any direction using my my joysticks or my thumbsticks, if I click left all the way to the left, it shows the value negative 100, meaning that I'm going left on the x-axis. And if I let go, it'll give me a different default value. But if I press right all the way, it'll give me 100, meaning that 100 in the y-axis, meaning that I'm going towards the right. So even if you press any other direction or whatever, if I'm moving in a direction, it will show a random number between like 0 and 100. But if I'm pressing right, then it will show 100, and if I'm pressing left, it will show negative 100. And that's for the x-axis. So in turn, if I check for the y-axis, it will give me the exact same thing. So if I check for axis y, if I press up, it will give me positive 100, and if I press down, it should give me negative 100, or vice versa. And also you can check for the axis POV. That is normally for the directional buttons. not really the thumbsticks, but these are representing the directional buttons. But it really depends on the gamepad setup. So when I press down, I get 180. When I press right, I get 90. When I press left, I get 270. When I press up, I click 0. So if you look at it like trigonometry and stuff, and looking at how you have circles and stuff in trigonometry, you can see the different degrees that it goes through. So basically that is it for this tutorial. I hope you kind of grasped it. I was kind of vague, but I hope you grasped it. In the next tutorial we'll learn a bit more about it. So thanks for watching, and bye.